Creativity has long been considered a uniquely human trait, the ability to generate original ideas, invent new solutions, and produce art that moves people emotionally. But in the age of AI, can algorithms be truly creative, or are they just sophisticated remix machines? This question lies at the heart of the algorithmic creativity paradox. At first glance, AI generated works, paintings, musical compositions, even scientific papers seem innovative. Large language models like ChatGPT can produce poetry, while generative adversarial networks can create artwork in the style of great masters. Yet these systems work by analyzing vast amounts of pre-existing data, identifying patterns, and recombining elements in ways that mimic human creativity. Is that really creating or just reshuffling ideas in statistically novel ways? Let's compare this to how human creativity works. When a composer writes a new symphony, they draw on their past experiences with music, cultural influences, and theoretical knowledge, but they also seem to generate something fundamentally new that was not just a remix of past symphonies. If AI does the same, analyzing prior compositions and producing a new piece, why do we hesitate to call it truly creative? One possible answer is insight. Human creativity often involves sudden breakthroughs, conceptual leaps, and the ability to connect seemingly unrelated ideas. A human artist might dream up an entirely new aesthetic style, while AI tends to explore variations within existing frameworks. AI-generated art can surprise us, but can it surprise itself? Can it break its own rules the way a revolutionary scientist or artist might? Another issue is intentionality. A human writer has a purpose, an emotional or intellectual drive behind their work. An AI generates outputs based on probability distributions without any personal vision or subjective experience. It doesn't want to create anything. It simply follows a mathematical process. But here's the paradox. If human creativity is also built upon patterns and learned experiences, then are we really so different from AI? The human brain is, after all, a network of neurons firing in response to stimuli. Is creativity just a particularly advanced form of pattern recognition, meaning that an advanced enough AI could eventually surpass us in creative thought? Or is there something about the human mind, perhaps consciousness itself, that enables true creativity in a way that no algorithm ever could? If AI-generated works become indistinguishable from human-created ones, will it matter whether the process was algorithmic or not? And if creativity is not about the process, but the impact of the final work, could machines already be creative in ways we simply refuse to acknowledge? Algorithms generate creative outputs by analyzing vast data sets and identifying statistical correlations between elements. Techniques such as deep learning and generative models, e.g. PT, DALL-E, or Midjourney, recombine existing patterns in ways that appear novel but are fundamentally derived from pre-existing data structures. While this mimics creativity, it raises the question of whether genuine originality is possible without the ability to transcend learned patterns. For example, AI-generated paintings by models like DALL-E or Deep Dream can produce visually stunning, seemingly unique artworks, but these are fundamentally interpolations of existing images and styles. This is like a musician composing a new song by combining elements of melodies they have heard before. Innovative yet constrained by past influences. Human creativity often involves intuition, emotional depth, and conceptual leaps that extend beyond strict logical patterns. Unlike algorithms, which operate on fixed training data, humans can draw inspiration from abstract concepts, personal experiences, and subconscious processes. This suggests that while AI-generated creativity may be convincing, it lacks the depth and self-awareness that define human artistry. For example, a human poet may write a new poem inspired by a life experience, while an AI-generated poem is statistically constructed from patterns in previously written poetry. This is like the difference between a chef creating a dish based on their childhood memories versus an AI generating a recipe based on ingredient compatibility alone. Machine learning models rely entirely on prior data for creativity, meaning they cannot generate ideas that are entirely independent of what they have learned. Even generative adversarial networks, GANs, which can create seemingly original outputs, are limited by the scope of their data set. This contrasts with human creativity, where individuals can imagine and conceptualize things they have never encountered before. For example, AI-generated music compositions closely resemble existing genres and harmonic structures, but breakthroughs in music, e.g., atonal music, jazz improvisation, often come from human defiance of norms. Imagine a librarian who can recommend books by analyzing previous reader preferences, but can never create an entirely new literary genre from scratch. AI is increasingly used to generate scientific hypotheses, particularly in fields like drug discovery and physics, by recognizing patterns that humans might overlook. However, AI does not intuitively generate new fundamental principles. It refines existing models through statistical inference rather than conceptual revolution. True scientific breakthroughs often involve paradigm shifts that require human insight and risk-taking. For example, AI has helped accelerate the discovery of new materials, such as predicting novel protein structures, e.g., AlphaFold, but it has yet to propose entirely new laws of physics. This is like a chess engine that can play better than humans by analyzing billions of past games, but cannot invent an entirely new way to play chess. Creativity often involves randomness, intuition, and unexpected connections, which AI attempts to mimic through stochastic processes. However, randomness in AI is guided by probability distributions, while in humans, random associations can be influenced by emotions, dreams, or unconscious thought. This fundamental difference suggests that AI-generated creativity, while surprising, lacks the depth of human imagination. In surrealist art, painters like Salvador Dali drew inspiration from dreams and subconscious imagery. AI can mimic this by recombining elements, but does it experience creativity? This is like rolling a dice to generate words for poetry. It may form unexpected combinations, but lacks underlying intent or meaning. Mathematically, algorithms function within finite computational spaces and defined optimization problems, meaning their novelty is constrained by algorithmic efficiency. True novelty, in the philosophical sense, might require breaking beyond pre-existing information spaces, something AI does not inherently do. If creativity is the ability to think outside defined paradigms, then AI is not creative in the same way as humans. For example, AI-generated literature can be engaging, but it does not introduce new literary movements the way postmodernism or science fiction did. This is like a skilled DJ remixing old songs into a new format. It sounds fresh, but the underlying components are still sourced from existing material. Human creativity often involves moments of sudden realization, aha moments, when disparate ideas connect unexpectedly. AI does not experience such moments. It follows predefined optimization paths and gradient descent in neural networks. This suggests that AI's creativity lacks the spontaneous insight that often defines human innovation. For example, the discovery of the structure of benzene by Kekulé, inspired by a dream of a snake biting its own tail, was an intuitive leap beyond data-driven inference. Deep learning operates as a black box where even researchers do not fully understand how models arrive at certain creative outputs. While AI may seem to think creatively, it lacks self-awareness, metacognition, and a reflective understanding of its process. Without intentionality or subjective experience, AI-generated creativity is purely mechanistic. For example, GPT-4 can write compelling essays, but it does not understand the meaning behind them. It generates text based on statistical likelihoods. This is like a parrot learning to mimic human speech. It produces words without comprehending the deeper meaning. The question of whether AI can achieve true creativity hinges on whether creativity is purely computational or requires something beyond algorithms, such as consciousness. If creativity is simply the novel recombination of existing elements, AI is already creative. But if true creativity requires intuition, subjective experience, and the ability to redefine paradigms, AI remains fundamentally different. For example, an AI can generate an abstract painting, but can it create an entirely new artistic movement like cubism or surrealism? So far, no. AI-generated work has led to a fundamental shift in human culture. This is like a talented student following all the rules of painting to create beautiful art, but never inventing a new artistic style.